Well, we've got a huge field lining up here for round 2 at Redhead Beach, and not the traditional Ironman we saw in round 1. It'll be a little bit longer, the enduro format here today. Around the 45-minute mark, they'll go around the course twice, and of course start with this huge soft sand run. Jack, there's quite a mix here of experience and the youth coming through. Who do you like?
I'm going to stick with Carly Nerthen, out of good form in round 1. This endurance is going to be a test, though, for her.
Oh, there's no better form than winning, and she, of course, got off to the best possible start like that. A few of the more experienced girls there, the likes of the Georgia Miller, Amy Nerthen, I like them. They have form on the board in the Summer of Surf in the past few years. And, of course, the young guns, Gemma Smith and Lizzie Wellborn. They'll be two to watch out for in the future. But I don't know, there's some big names here and with a lot of experience. Starting this enduro format with a grueling soft sand run. The girls are away, so we're in around 2 legs for swim, board and ski. They'll make their way down. What about these great shots and a couple of little whippets getting out in front early, Jack?
That's local girl Lily Costello, following her Gemma Smith, 2 of the under-17 competitors who will be ones to keep an eye on today.
A couple of the girls struggling as well in this soft sand run, but there's plenty of racing left, a lot of time to build into it. You may not want to go out too hard in this first run. It is the longest of the one of the day, and I guess if this is your strength, you've got to use it.
Yeah, use it when you can. It is a grueling 400-metre run, so they've got to make the most of it while they can.
Out in front, Lily Costello from such a strong club here at Redhead Beach. We've seen a lot of Lily in the Summer of Surf last year, and they've got a lot of great competitors from this region as well, don't they?
Yeah, she's one of many fantastic competitors that have come out of Redhead. Another is her brother Isaac, who we'll see later on today.
Oh, and don't forget Stuart McLaughlin, the 3 times Australian board champion, and Dan Collins, the world junior surf race champion. He'll be in the Ironman as well, but the girls make their way through the surf club. Something pretty special here. We'll see the rock formation out in front as well as the tower. So an iconic beach here at Redhead, and a Redhead local leading the opening leg. How long do you think these young girls will stay out in front for?
They're going to have to try and hold them off here. We start with the swim leg. It'll be interesting to see how they go against the older, more experienced girls.
Especially with the likes of Georgia Miller in there. Greta Peterson's another great swimmer. We head back. Dev Halligan a little bit further back than she'd like to be from the Burleigh Heads Mowbray Park Club. And as the girls make their way into the water for the first time, they'll have to duck dive. The legs will really be burning at this point, and we see a couple of them already struggling, diving under those ones, and a few of the more experienced girls, your Amy Nerthens there from the Currumbin Club, they're still up and waiting. Those little things make a difference.
Make a huge difference. As we see the girls make their way across this little bank here, they've got to try and get their arms up to keep their legs moving through the water.
Your arms get high, your legs follow, and make sure your feet are out of the water. And we've got such a big field, Jack. You don't want to be caught at the back of it, because not only do you have to swim through them, it's just so much further to be away from the leaders. You're 1, maybe 2 waves behind them. So getting on the front, as it looks like Georgia Miller there, the yellow cap, 2 maroon stripes of the Newport Club. We saw her do the same in round 1. She led the Ironwoman early, swim first. How important is it to be on the front early in these races?
Setting your race up early is super important. As we see these waves rolling through, that's going to give the girls out in front the first crack at the waves.
On the way home, and conditions are perfect down here. We can see how clear the water is, and a little 2 to 3 foot wave coming through, but it will get bigger as the day goes on, and it will start to make a difference. Especially here, it's so full. The leaders might get one. Sometimes they hold off, and the back markers come through.
Yeah, it's always hard when you're out in front and the back markers get a wave through from behind. Didn't happen to me too much.
Well, I do remember you getting one good wave to win you a state championship, but we'll leave that for another day. Georgia Miller is one girl who knows about winning state championships, 11 gold medals at the New South Wales titles, and she's making her own luck out in front. Gemma Smith in second place from the Umina Club, just down the road on the Central Coast, so she'll know a lot about racing right here in the Hunter region. It looks like Lizzie Wellborn is sneaking around on the inside in third there, so 2 of the young guns really giving it to the rest of the field in second and third place. Only 17 years of age. These girls went head-to-head at the Australian titles, finished first and second in the Ironwoman as they make their way home. And Georgia Miller, such a good stroke, so calm, so efficient, but back further in the pack, there's a little bit of crash and bash already for these girls.
It's not an easy place to be. The turbulent water from those in front, and you've got to try and close that gap.
And you're trying not to fight the people around you as the girls really push into the break zone at the moment. But they're not done with the swim. They'll come in, head around a set of flags, and head out for a second swim as Georgia Miller pushes down a wave with Lizzie Wellborn. So a welcome reward there for effort out in front for these two. Georgia Miller on the left-hand side, the yellow cap. On the right, it's Lizzie Wellborn, 4 years younger than her. She's got the white cap with the maroon stripe down the centre. So the girls will make their way in, run around the flag, and then they'll have another swim to go. They'll do that 2 more times on the board and the ski, and then repeat the process again. Jack, how tough is this enduro format?
Yeah, it's going to be super tough on these girls. But these two in front, they've opened a nice little buffer. Hopefully they can capitalise in the second part of this first swim leg.
Greta Peterson, Maddie Dunn, the Northern sisters are all there in third, fourth. Tara Coleman, Gemma Smith, our second place getter around the can, comes in, and then the pack starts to make their way home. There's a lot of girls. As Harriet Brown comes up, so you'd expect Harriet to be a lot further up in the race at this point, but there's plenty of race to go. How much effort do you put into these early legs, Jack? Do you really spend all your cookies and hope to break away like our leaders have, or do you save a little bit for the final legs?
Ideally, you put yourself in the best position out in front. If you're not, you're going to have to fight hard to make your way up there.
Are we going to see a few blow-ups here? Are we going to see a couple of girls who go out a little bit too hard and then struggle to get home? You wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy. A few legs to go and no energy left. It's a real tough one to race in that sort of mode.
We might see a few girls hit the wall. I know I've hit a few of those in my time.
Yeah, you definitely have, Jack, as the girls make their way out in the second of our opening swim legs. And the girls, what about those shots there? Bart Louie, our underwater cameraman, some great stuff here, getting us right up close and personal as we watch a few of the Karumba girls duck underneath those waves. Some of the best skills in the business and some of the best shots in the business.
Yeah, Georgia Miller's opened up a good gap there, and she has fantastic skills, as we saw on the way back in that first leg. Hopefully she can use them on the way home here to open up that gap even further.
Oh, the skills are so important, and the little gaps are so important. One wave can turn into two, 2 waves can turn into 3, and before you know it, it's a race-winning league, but a lot of work left. As we take a look at our leaders, it's Georgia Miller from Lizzie Wellborn, the Northcliffe duo there, Maddie Dunn and Greta Peterson, and then a little bit of work for these girls. They're just dropping off the pace, and the pace must really be on up front because we can see the girls in single file. Can you tell us why they end up like that, especially in this swim leg?
Yeah, this field's spread right out. The girls we see tucking in behind the ones in front are trying to use that wash. That helps them conserve energy. It'll drag them around this course.
I guess the water's already moving that direction as they start to make their way home, and not much on offer from Huey out the back. It looks like a few little bumps there, and the girls at this point, they'll really be struggling. The heart rate will be up, and they'll be praying for a wave as there's one from the outside, so it'll just fill up on this section. I don't think anyone's had any advantage out of that, but there's a few that have been cleaned up around the can. So interesting to see the waves breaking on the outside of the can on that bank, and little ones on the inside. Georgia Miller just struggles to push down that one. Lizzie Wellborn not letting her go. A more noted board paddler, Jack, but she's doing well in the swim.
She's obviously done a lot of work on her swim. If she can sit with Georgia Miller like she has, she's done a great job.
As she pushes down one, and what about these shots from above, seeing just how far these girls are going down the beach, close to the rocks. So that's the swim leg done, the opening swim leg. We've got another one to go. The girls will make their way up around the rocks, past the surf club, and head in again for the board leg with plenty of racing left to go. Georgia Miller, she looks comfortable.
Yeah, very comfortable. The legs are going to start to burn here on this soft sand transition, though, so they've got to keep it up.
As the girls make their way in along the rocks there, the crowd watches on. There's probably the best seat in the house. You can see all the action there as Lizzie Wellborn comes up and through the arch for the first time, heads round and heads towards her board.
Yeah, the board leg's our next leg. As we said, after this transition, the legs are going to burn. They have to get themselves through the break and out to the back of the cans as quick as possible, staying up on their knees if they can.
You're not wrong about legs starting to burn. While this transition is shorter than the opening run leg, it's still not short at all. Lizzie Wellborn and, yeah, Greta Peterson looks like she's pushing along strongly.
She's our current under-19 2K beach run champion, so these longer transitions are going to play into her favour.
Oh, definitely, especially as the race goes on. Tara Coleman, Maddie Dunn, 2 of the girls that have done the Coolangatta Gold before, so they know what it's like to have long runs toward the end of races. As Georgia Miller makes her way out, she just sneaks down towards those rocks a little bit there, Jack. There's obviously water moving out.
Yeah, I think there's a slight rip moving out to that northern end. We'll see the girls use it throughout the course of the race if they're smart.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about deciding what's the best line to go out. Who makes that decision on the line before they go out into the water?
I'd like to say the athletes, having a chat to their coaches, trying to work out their race plan and exactly what they're going to do for each leg.
Well, the race plan seems simple for Georgia Miller. It's get out in front in the swim and hold on from there. And she's just started to break away. One of the best board paddlers in the business, though. Lizzie Wellborn, second at the Australian Championship in the open board race. Hot on her heels, and the rest of the girls just crashed through. Maddie Dunn heads over, and the distinctive red and green colours of Tara Coleman in the background push through a rabid South Sydney supporter as Maddie Dunn just heads up underneath one. Whoa, rolls underneath it. So, wow, conditions are really starting to pick up in that corner. If these girls are being forced to roll, it's going to be tough going here on the board legs. There's, a couple more girls, they go up and over that one. So they've been forced to roll again. Conditions a little stronger than they sort of seem there in that opening swim.
The girls' skills are certainly going to be tested here at Redhead. We've seen them popping and rolling already. They've got to make the right decisions at the right times to get themselves out the back.
How do these girls make these decisions? I guess there's not a set plan for going out through the break.
No set plan. It changes every time. But these girls have put plenty of hours in at training. They know exactly what they've got to do in terms of their skills to get it right.
And have a look at the gap that's opened up just because of those few waves that we see rolling through as well. So Georgia Miller has made probably 100 metres on Lizzie Wellborn after going in maybe 20 metres in front. So Lizzie Wellborn, a lot of work to do, as does the rest of the field. One wave can send you flying backwards, Jack, and really can slow you down.
Yeah, huge advantage for the girls out in front if they break away and the others get hit. Georgia Miller's going to try and work these bumps on the way home to capitalise and extend the gap.
Oh, she's really working hard on these runners. Oh, a little bit of trouble there coming in. So the swell making it hard for Georgia Miller, and this can's making it hard for Maddie Dunn as she struggles to get around there. Racing's hard enough without getting caught on the can, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to take that can super tight. Probably not that tight.
Yeah, she got caught in that one. Georgia Miller out in front, making her way home here. A gorgeous Redhead. But look out the back, those waves breaking far beyond the can and not much on offer in the middle there, except Georgia Miller gets one. So she found a bit of luck in the swim. She's got a little bit of luck in the board. Before you know it, she could be out in front and halfway home. It looks like Lizzie Wellborn way out the back is pushing down one as well. Pushing. And the other key to being out in front as well, Jack, is that if you're on a wave and the other girls are paddling, you're resting, the heart rate's dropping, you're getting yourself set for this run, and you're getting yourself set for later in the race when you might need that extra energy.
Yeah, that time on the wave gives you that chance to drop that heart rate, get your breath back, then set up for the next leg.
And a little bit of time to focus as well. You can have a look around, figure out where you are, figure out if you've got some catching up to do, as the girls out the back have plenty of catching up to do. They come down one. Maddie Dunn all the way on the back straps to bring that nose up. It looks like Carly Nerthen, our round one winner in the centre, and Harriet Brown, one of the most experienced women in the sport, on that wave too. So they're in the hunt for third place at the moment. But our two young guns out in front, Georgia Miller, only 20 years of age. She is our leader. But look at the gap Lizzie Wellborn's closed in only a matter of waves there. We spoke about it before. If you get hit, you head back to the pack. And Georgia Miller has gone all the way back into second place. Lizzie Wellborn showing us how it's done on the board. And here comes the Light Brigade. They're all up and around this one. Amy Nerthen leads us around, along with Lily Costello, Tara Coleman in there. It looks like Tian Raymond as well, Greta Peterson. So some of the big names of this race are in the mix, but have a lot of work to do. You can see how much one wave can make a difference.
Yeah, we've seen a few mistakes made early, and the person who makes the least mistakes is the one that's going to find themselves out the front in the end of the day.
I think that's the formula that Shannon Eckstein's used for so long. He likes to be the last man to make a mistake in a race. But in such a long race like this, 45 minutes, 2 laps, you'd expect there'd be more and more mistakes as these girls get further and further into the race.
With the fatigue come mistakes, and that's what they've got to try and minimise.
And one girl who's not making any mistakes out in front is Lizzie Wellborn. Georgia Miller back in second, but she wouldn't be too worried at this point. There's a long way to go, and there's a long gap back to third place. Lizzie makes her way around. How does a girl so young and so experienced, what's the thinking in her mind at the moment? Does she know what she's doing? Is she worried about the other girls, or is she just going for home and letting instincts take over?
How good is this young girl? I mean, we find her out in front against some of the best girls in the country. She's under 17. I think she's got nothing to lose.
Nothing, and that's probably the best way to race, Jack. No worries, no concerns, and whatever happens is a great result for her out in front, just like the girl in second. But this is where it gets tough heading around that can. Two former training partners there, Maddie Dunn and Carly Nerthen, used to be at the Mooloolaba Club, have made their way to different clubs on the Gold Coast now, and it's been a real winter of change, hasn't it? A lot of changes from a lot of girls, particularly from that Sunshine Coast down to the Gold Coast.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of change in this off-season, and we're here to see whether or not it's paid off.
This will be the big thing, and I guess there was a lot of nerves early in the summer. There's a lot of nerves before this race about whether the changes will pay off or whether they've made a mistake, but it looks like a couple of these girls, they've been at those clubs for a while. That's definitely not a problem, as is this one, as Harriet Brown gets away from out the back. So this is certainly going to bring her back into the mix, as Carly Nerthen goes off and Maddie Dunn misses the can there. So we spoke about mistakes, and that was an unexpected one. You don't normally see waves like that as they come around the can, and will that pay off later in the race for Harriet Brown? She made the most of it as Georgia Miller's up the beach. Her handler will grab her craft as she heads into the second transition, and the second of these run legs. They're going to get tougher as the day goes on.
Yeah, each run leg, each transition, these legs are going to burn that little bit more. They make their way onto the ski, try and get themselves through that break again, trying to minimise those mistakes.
One girl who had no mistakes in that board leg, Harriet Brown there, and probably one of the fastest long-distance runners in the field. She'll just keep going all day. Georgia Miller, she looks very efficient there, just trotting along. Doesn't look like she's working too hard. Lizzie Wellborn, it looks like her legs are taking a bit more of a pounding from these run legs.
Yeah, she is only young and light though, so hopefully we see her pick it up throughout the course of the race.
Maddie Dunn has gone a long way back. That can really wreaked havoc on Maddie Dunn as she tried to come in. She hasn't had a great day with cans there, and she looks like she's back in the pack at the moment. So 2 seconds ago, she was up with Harriet Brown and Carly Nerthen. Now she's back fighting it out with the rest of the field, but these girls aren't out of it yet as Harriet Brown makes her way around in third. Carly Nerthen, our round one winner in 4. It looks like Lily Costello there, the local girl. Maddie Dunn, Gemma Smith as well in there. Tara Coleman still in the mix. Amy Nerthen, and of course Tian Raymond from Burleigh Heads, another one who's made the move. She came from that super strong Mooloolaba Club there down to Burleigh Heads as Georgia Miller just slows down on this ski. Make sure she crashes through that wave properly. So sometimes going forward at 100 miles an hour is not the right move.
Yeah, now we see Georgia Miller sitting here now waiting. She's going to wait until she sees she's got a gap, then she's going to go for it. We might see her go up over this one. No, the girls are going to sit back again. Just watch closely as they make their way out. When they see a lull, they'll go for it.
And this brings our third, fourth and fifth place getters back into the race. So you can see the yellow tail there on the right-hand side. That's Lizzie Wellborn. This is third, fourth and fifth. How quickly has this gap completely disappeared? These girls were 150 metres out in front. Now it's a race in 5.
Yeah, that set's held those front girls up on the bank as we see the back markers or the chasers make their way back up and through.
What's the thinking there, Jack? Why didn't they just go for it? Is there a reason that they didn't just try and crash their way through?
Yeah, you've got to be patient, Josh. Sitting on that bank or trying to crash through, you may end up with your ski back to the beach, which is a lot slower than waiting patiently and making your way out when the lull comes.
You're not wrong. Swimming all the way back to the beach and then going again on the ski would be the worst possible scenario. One girl who's licking her lips that she's back into this race is Harriet Brown. Great technique on the ski there. She's got nice long arms. Make sure she gets good leverage with the paddle. And a couple of the girls at the back there, Liv Hall really trying to work her way back into this race, as is Caitlin Matushka. So she's a great ski paddler. Expect her to come through. She's the mixed double gold medalist with Lockie Tame at the Australian Championships last year. I'd expect her to go straight to the front of this pack and really drag them around.
Oh, who better to work with than Lockie Tame, a phenomenal ski paddler in the open men's division.
Caitlin told me that she actually dragged him around in that gold medal race, so I'm sure Lockie will agree with that one. Back to the race, it's Amy Nerthen here back in the mix at the moment. We've seen her hovering around the 8th, 9th place, but she's starting to make her way through the field and, of course, chasing her sister who's up in 4th. How hard would it be at training with these two sisters going at it every day?
Yeah, day in, day out, they go head-to-head. It's pretty tough knowing that you'll know all their strengths and weaknesses.
And I guess you'll know when they're in good form and when they're not. That small little bit of confidence as the girls push around that first can. A couple of them just struggling to get the skis around, and at 5.8 metres and close to 17 kilos, you can't blame them. They're huge craft, but once they get moving, man, they go fast.
Yeah, they're like the Formula One of the ocean. Harriet Brown's often been referred to as the Ferrari.
She's one of the fastest on the craft. Amy Northern just grimaces there as she tries to get the ski up and moving after the turn. Now they're 15 minutes into this race, Jack. They're almost at the halfway mark. Things are really starting to get tough.
Yeah, it is tough. Have a look at Gemma Smith over to the left. She's working on this little bump. She's worked harder than the other girls, and it looks like she's going to get down it. Give her an advantage on the way home back to the beach.
What about that from Gemma Smith as they get up close and personal on these skis on the way home? So we've got a race in 5, but there's a wave out the back, and we're about to have a race in 7. That looks like Maddie Dunn there. Maybe Greta Peterson as well coming into the mix. No, it looks like Tian Raymond there from the Burleigh Heads Mowbray Park Club looming up in 6th place, but it's a race in 5, almost in perfect synchronicity on the way home, these paddles. Harriet Brown takes a quick look around. She's looking for a wave, and one starts to come. Gemma Smith's just been squeezed out and will head out the back. A little bit of inexperience there, and I'm sure Carly Northern's not going to let her have an inch.
No, we'll see these girls use these cans throughout the race, and if they get an opportunity, they may put the other girls into them.
And as long as racing is fair, it's all fair in racing. Oh, there's a little bit of carnage. All the girls are off. One ski goes up and over. It looks like it's cleaned up Lizzie Wellborn there. I think she's all right. She grabs her head, but doesn't look like too much damage. She knows she's up and going. So Carly Northern picks her ski up, has made the most of it. Gemma Smith, after being squeezed out, and Tian Raymond's gone straight past them all into 3rd place.
Yeah, we see limiting the mistakes there makes a huge difference. What's going on?
Crash and bash there. I don't know what's going on there. It looks like Harriet Brown almost copped Amy Northern's ski to the face. So Amy Northern around. Harriet picks hers up. Tara Coleman there in the distinctive South Sydney colours. And Lizzie Wellborn's all the way back in 9th place. Jack, how do you come back from something like that? It's not your fault. You've just been cleaned up. How do you compose yourself and get back in racing?
Yeah, you've got to stay relaxed, stay calm. If you start to stress, your heart rate's going to lift. That's going to cause more fatigue. It's going to hurt you later on.
So it contradicts yourself. You're stressed about it, you're worried about it, but you've got to be calm, let yourself get back into the racing and focus on the things that you need to focus on. And this girl out in front, Tian Raymond, she's focused. We can see that, not looking around, leaning on her stroke there. And Gemma Smith, for a young girl, paddles the ski incredibly well. She's the silver medalist at the Australian Championships in the under-17 ski race. She looks like she's been doing it for years.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal young athlete. Board, ski, iron, swim, doesn't matter for her. She's good at them all.
Star of the future is being born right here at Redhead Beach in Newcastle. Georgia Miller, she'll have to be wondering what she's done wrong after being belted 2-3 times on these craft legs. But she knows she's got the swim coming up, so we're going to do this all again. Swim, board, ski, all over again. The girls have got time to work their way back into it as Gemma Smith really starts to make a move out in front and puts the pressure on a couple of the girls further at the back. Tian Raymond, she's had a break through summer last summer, got herself into the professional series, got herself re-qualified this year, and is really coming on as the star of the future.
Yeah, she made her way down to Burleigh Heads Mowbray Park in the off-season to coach Wes Berg, a bloke that spent 20 years in the professional series.
Don't get much more experience than a guy who's raced that many times, won that many times, and now he's passing on his experience to the next generation. It looks like it's paying off. So we spoke about before the off-season changes and whether they'll pay off or not. Tian Raymond, it looks like it's paying dividends for her.
She'll be one to watch.
Definitely, as the girls start to head round the can for the last time in the opening ski leg. Don't forget, we've got one more swim. Oh, as we see that can come into play again. So I don't know what these girls have done, whether they're cutting it more fine than usual, whether the cans are bigger than usual, but it's really causing havoc on a few of the back markers as Carly Northern paddles back into this race. We saw her in the highlights earlier today break away on those craft legs, and it looks like she's trying to do the same again as a wave looms. Tian Raymond looks to be hurting, but this one will bring her back into it. Carly Northern on the purple nose ski, Gemma Smith in the middle, and Tian Raymond on the right-hand side. So the girls won't want to stop paddling here. They're going to have to put the pressure down because we saw earlier in this ski leg how these waves can really wreak havoc when you're not paying attention. As they do, the girls push, push, push through this deep section, push, push, and then all of a sudden it will dip out and become super shallow, and that's where you want to apply the pressure. And we see a few little, oh, go as one of the girls goes under. Gemma Smith, she's gone. Oh, ski in the air. That's what we were talking about. Tian Raymond's off as well. And the only one who didn't make a mistake is Carly Nerthen. That's what we spoke about. You've got to push the whole way through, otherwise it can cause carnage.
Fantastic skills there from Carly Nerthen. All the way to the beach. She didn't stop paddling. She knew she had to keep herself out in front of that wave, and that then will carry her right through to the beach.
I guess if you're a young athlete watching these stars go around, that's one thing you've got to take from this, don't you? You just keep paddling. There's no point sitting up, relaxing. As long as you keep ticking it over, you'll make sure the ski ends up out in front of it, and you won't end up swimming like Tian Raymond and Gemma Smith.
Swimming's not what you want to be doing in that ski leg.
Definitely not. And as we hit the halfway point out in front, it's Carly Nerthen, but there's a long way to go right here at Redhead. Stick with us. We'll be back in a moment with the finish of the Ironwoman. Well, welcome back to Redhead Beach and round 2 of the Summer of Surf. We're in the Hunter region and things are really starting to heat up in the Ironwoman event. We've seen carnage, we've seen lead changes, we've seen just about everything under the sun, Jack, and we've still got another loop left. Carly Nerthen out in front. She's doing a great job.
Yeah, she finds herself out in front after a few girls have made a few mistakes. She's going to work hard to try and keep herself there.
She's trying to keep herself in front of Tian Raymond there from the Burleigh Heads Mowbray Park Club. Georgia Miller, our early leader, heads into her favourite leg, so expect her to take ground off these two leaders, as well as Gemma Smith, Harriet Brown, Amy Nerthen in 6th place. And it looks like Maddie Dunn, after a few mistakes early on in the board, is doing her best to get back into this race. With such a big field, it's really starting to string out at the moment. We see Tara Coleman there, Ellie Picken, so the former Tasmanian, is getting into this one, and she's a junior Coolangatta Gold champion, so she'll just keep going all day long. And our race leader from the board leg, Lizzie Wellborn, all the way back outside the top 10, has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we may see the birth of a new endurance animal here today at Redhead.
You don't get many chances to race endurance races outside of the Coolangatta Gold, so a few of these girls will be in uncharted territory, especially heading into this second half. And as it looks like Carly Nerthen ducks underneath these waves, could you tell us what she's trying to do there getting underneath them?
As these waves break on the bank, she wants to try and get herself as deep as possible. She'll make her way to the bottom, all right, grab the sand, push off, get out the other side into the clean water.
I guess to stop yourself from being washed back. The surf was so powerful for the girls in that ski leg, as we see a few of them there. Great shots. Couple push off the bottom there, so stop themselves from going backwards and push out of this group. As Harriet Brown does the same. She's so tall, no problems reaching the bottom. Looks like Maddie Dunn's tacked onto the back of that one there. She'll just wash her way through. So great insight into what these girls go through as they head out to sea. Probably shots we've never seen before in this type of racing, but it looks like the pack's starting to close up again. Tara Coleman, she'll go all day. She's tough as nails. As the further this race goes on, the better she's going to go, because she loves it down, dirty and tough. Out in front, Carly Nerthen, she's really let this pack disappear off her tail, and it still looks like Tian Raymond in second, but she's definitely not dragging ground off her.
Well, I think Georgia Miller's made her way up and past Tian Raymond there, and she is one that can close this gap. A phenomenal swimmer. This is her strength, and she'll try and work it.
Yeah, not one to hold back in the swim leg, that's for sure. Out in front, and it looks like Harriet Brown on the outside working her way into third. So Tian Raymond going backwards in this swim as they push and shove around that can. They're not, as we say, Jack, if you can't make room, you take room. The boys are really rough around those cans. The girls a little bit nicer, but there's not a whole lot of etiquette, is there?
I don't know how nice these girls are. They've got the longer nails. They'll still throw a few punches, but I think it's only you that says that make room, take room.
Oh, they love it. As Carly Nerthen loves it, she goes straight over our photographer and down one. Out in front of a wave. Will she hold on? Will she pop out of this one? Oh, no, she pops out the top. So, wow, I thought she took that one all the way to the beach, but just struggled there. A little bit of duck diving, a little bit of waiting to do, and we can see she'll make her way to the 2 orange flags. She'll pick this wave up. That'll make a whole lot of a difference, because that 100-metre gap, it'll be 200 to 300 metres now, won't it?
I don't know about 200 or 300. We see these girls come down a wave also out the back. They're going to hold it right through to the beach. That's Maddie Dunn there, and she's closed a huge gap from earlier on.
Well, I called her way further out in front than she actually was. Maddie Dunn has found a wave as well. Amy Nerthen heads round. Tian Raymond, our leader, heading into the swim. A little bit of work to do. Lizzie Wellborn, she's coming back from all that crash and bash on the ski. And Georgia Miller there, our second place girl around the can, is back in 8th place. So she's just tough with these waves.
Yeah, these waves are making a huge difference, and they're really coming into play here on this bank. Watch Georgia Miller try to make her way back up in this second half of the swim.
Well, she's got her. We saw her lead through the first swim and then try and hold on. The girls got her on the ski. I think if she's going to have any chance of winning this race, her move has to come right now in the final swim today for our Ironwoman. As they push through, Maddie Dunn gets into her stroke, gets moving, and really tries to narrow this gap.
She's taken plenty of room off Carly Nerthen through that wave zone. She's going to try and close that gap even more out the back.
As the mass starts to build, starts to chase, they're really on the hunt there. Looks like Harriet Brown pushing underneath one. There's Amy Nerthen through as well. So as we ride on with these girls, it's like being in the race, isn't it, Jack? You can see how tough it is, how hard they're working, and they're swimming all over the top of each other. Tian Raymond, Lizzie Wellborn, bashing, crashing. Georgia Miller, she wants clean water. She wants to swim on her own. She wants to just hammer away until she's back in the lead.
Yeah, there is no advantage bashing and crashing. You want to find your own water. You want to get yourself out nice and clean and chase those front markers.
Well, there's a little bit of dirty water out the back at the moment for these leaders as the waves start to come through. So how tough would it be trying to get around the cans, thinking you're out the back and having a whitewash clean you up?
It doesn't seem too bad at this stage, but we may see that come into play in the men's race as this tide drops.
Oh, we'll definitely see some more surf, that's for sure, as Carly Nerthen out in front. But it looks like Maddie Dunn's starting to drag ground off her there. It'll be a body length at this point, and she went in with a lot bigger gaps. So the waves are starting to come into play as well. We see them pushing down this, pushing down this. There's another one out the back, and it's a race in two out in front. Back in 3rd place, Harriet Brown. A little bit of work to do. We can see her long and loping stroke there. One of the best board paddlers in the business, so she'll be waiting to make her move in the next leg. We have swim here, board next, ski to finish, and then that run. So don't count it out just yet. There's a long way to go in this Ironwoman as Carly Nerthen takes a look for a wave, and as something lifts out the back, these girls are back in it. Georgia Miller's down it. It looks like Lizzie Wellborn's down it and Harriet Brown. So Georgia Miller in the yellow cap there. Oh, as they go across a few of the rocks there. They're not worried about these rocks. They're straight across it and up the beach. Georgia Miller, Karma's come round. She got a wave on her earlier in the race. She's got one back and she's back out in front.
Yeah, fantastic skills there from Georgia Miller. She's picked that up from maybe 5th or 6th spot, held it right through to the beach. That's put her out into 1st place.
Perfect surfing skills there from Georgia Miller. Harriet Brown on the chase in 2nd place there as we take a look at this run leg. It's not getting any shorter, is it? And it's certainly getting tougher.
No, these run legs are going to seem like they get longer each and every time they make their way around.
And it seems like they're getting a little bit slower as well as the girls start to fatigue heading into the second of 2 board legs there. So Georgia Miller out in front. Harriet Brown using her long legs to her advantage. Lizzie Wellborn back in this race with a vengeance, and Carly Nerthen running in her footsteps. We just saw Maddie Dunn there go to the right-hand side of the screen. I guess it's to get into the shade, trying to use those flags a little bit. It's so hot out here.
Yeah, I don't know what her plan was in terms of running wide. All she's doing there is running further than the other girls.
Yeah, and she definitely don't want to do that. There's so much running in this race. Harriet Brown, the girls will be happy to get back into the water as Maddie Dunn in 5th picks up her board, takes a quick look around. Now, tactics, do they start to come into a play? They've hammered each other, tried to soften each other up. Is it now a matter of holding on until possibly sneaking a race win?
Yeah, they're all trying to hold on as best they can. Limit those mistakes, which we spoke about earlier, and try and find themselves up that front end at the end of the day.
That's it. Front end is all that matters, and we're back on the craft, and skills come into play as they work their way through the break. Georgia Miller, no issues. Straight out into the clean water. Harriet Brown on the yellow board to her left-hand side. White cap, the maroon star, the most famous of all surf life saving caps. They're the Northcliffe 10 times Australian teams champion. Maddie Dunn, her training partner, back in 3rd. On the yellow board, Lizzie Wellborn there from the North Bondi Club. The white cap with the maroon stripe down the centre. And it looks like hot on her heels is Carly Nerthen from Currumbin. She's known to lose her cap on most occasions, and I think it's happened here again. So for some reason, that cap keeps disappearing for the Nerthens. But out in front, it's Georgia Miller, and the girls have laid down. Is this about resting the legs for those transitions? Is it about being safe on the board? What's the thinking behind laying down?
I don't think these girls can afford to rest. race, we've seen Lizzie Wellborn paddle up past Maddie Dunn, a noted board paddler, and then on the inside of Harriet Brown and Georgia Miller, some of the best iron women in the country. How good is Lizzie Wellborn?
Unbelievable board paddler, and she showed them how it was done on her knees, has just shot up the inside, so she'll have the prime position heading into this first can. Oh, as a wave comes through. You don't normally see that. Waves breaking on the cans, and that's just knocked Georgia Miller a little bit back. Lizzie Wellborn, she sneaks around. Harriet Brown, oh, Maddie Dunn, more trouble. This is the second time. Take her wide next time, Maddie. You can't get that close. She's lost ground again. Look at the distance. She went from Lizzie Wellborn's tail, had a little bit of trouble on the can. Now she's 5 or 6 board lengths back. It's just not worth it, is it?
Well, I think Lizzie Wellborn's made her own luck there. She's put herself out in front. She didn't want to sit back and rest on her laurels. She wants to push all the way through to the beach and really open a gap in this board leg, which is her strength.
She's pushing out in front, pushing hard. She's pushing on almost nothing there. She's turned this little runner. Will it turn into a wave? No, I don't think so. She's just, look at her stroke there. It's poetry in motion, isn't it?
Oh, she's a phenomenal board paddler, and at such a young age, she's pushing against some of the best women in the country.
And she heads down a wave here, so reward for effort. Well done, Lizzie Wellborn. Wasn't happy to sit back and let the others dictate terms. Decided to go to the front, and it certainly paid off. Sometimes in surf, you make your own luck. Lizzie Wellborn in 1, Carly Northern in 2, and Maddie Dunn 3. Georgia Miller and Harriet Brown round out our top 5. Heading down, these girls are still in the race, but with a lot of work to do. We can see them on the outside as a few come down a wave. Greta Peterson, Carly Northern, and Amy Northern still inside our top 10. But with only 1.5 legs left, there's still a huge way to go here. Carly Northern really determined. She gets up, gets around this transition. Georgia Miller, Maddie Dunn, Harriet Brown. As the waves start to come out the back, it'll bring a few of the girls closer up, close this gap, and make it a race in 6 or 7 for second place.
If Lizzie Wellborn gets out clean here, it could be day over.
Oh, you've called it early. You've called it very early. Gemma Smith, Amy Northern, Tian Raymond, and Tara Coleman, 4 of the best in the business, will work around. Now, what's the thinking back here? I know you're racing the girls around you. Oh, is Georgia Miller there? She's just fallen off her board. So she went from paddling it to on the side. Maddie Dunn's going nowhere. She's flipped off and rolled. So heartbreak for Maddie Dunn. Oh, we see how much of an effort it is just to get the board back upright. So this waves are wreaking havoc as Georgia Miller gets hit. Maddie Dunn cops a little one again, and Carly Northern's on the front with Harriet Brown. These girls, they're chasing Lizzie Wellborn. They're back in 3rd, 4th, 5th. Do they work together, or is it every man for themselves?
They're going to have to try and work together after getting hit on that bank. That gap between them and Lizzie Wellborn has really opened up.
Oh, hasn't it ever? Take a look out to sea. Lizzie Wellborn heading towards those yellow cans. I guess the girls have to work together, otherwise they'll be racing off for second place, and you don't want that. You want to give yourself a chance of winning, even if it backfires on you, because back there, they've got no chance of winning. She takes a quick look around. She'll eye these girls off and try and get one of these waves on the way home. If they're not careful, you might pick one up from outside the can, so a little bit of surf awareness is going to come into play here.
Yeah, surf awareness, wave selection is a huge part of this, especially in board paddling. These girls know where they want to be for the way home. They've spoken about it with their coaches. They're going to pick their line and go for that.
Maddie Dunn, 4th in the Coolangatta Gold. You'd expect her to really work into this race late. You'd expect her to really come home strong as well on the ski. Harriet Brown and Carly Northern, more push and shove as they get around those cans. Georgia Miller just in the background with the yellow cap. Maddie Dunn takes that can a little bit wider, but she looks like she's just slowed down, eyes off the competition, and looks for a wave. She doesn't look like she's in great form at this point.
Yeah, you're going to go through many highs and lows throughout an endurance race like this. Maddie Dunn might be sitting in a low.
Is it about managing those lows and making sure that you don't let them ruin your race, and you know that the highs will come? And this is certainly a high for Lizzie Wellborn. Gets a wave, and with 1 leg to go, she's out in front.
Yeah, it's about relaxing, staying calm, and managing it. The highs will come, but so do the lows. You've got to be the one to work your way through them as best you can.
As we take a look at the race from as high as you can get above the competition, Lizzie Wellborn heads into the transition for the final time, and the girls will be happy to see the back end of this. Takes a quick drink from the handlers. So I guess nutrition comes into play as well, Jack. You don't want to end up with no energy in the final leg. She takes a quick drink, maybe a gel. That'll get her through the final ski leg.
Yeah, we might see her take a carbo.
Oh, as Carly Northern just rolls off there. So we spoke about mistakes. What a mistake for Carly Northern, but she'll get back on the wave here, and luckily it won't cost her too much.
Yeah, it won't prove too costly. She's jumped straight back onto that next wave to join Georgia Miller and Harriet Brown.
She looks very blasé on the board there, so a few small mistakes starting to creep into the chasing pack, and that's just going to play into Lizzie Wellborn's hands as Harriet Brown starts to force the issue there on the run. Wellborn grabs her ski for the... Oh, and a little mistake there. So we talk about these small mistakes creeping in, and we've just seen a few of them there. Lizzie Wellborn misses her ski, and it's not major, but those little things add up.
Yeah, Lizzie should have a big enough gap here that mistake won't cost her at the end of the day. If there's a few that are made out on this bank, that's what's really going to hit home.
Mistakes at critical times, that's what you're talking about. You don't want to make a mistake here. As you said before, losing your ski all the way in, the chase back will be all over you. Harriet Brown, Carly Northern, Georgia Miller, Maddie Dunn there. It looks like Gemma Smith, so she's having a great race in 6th place, along with Amy Northern, somebody who's 6 years older than her, 6 years more experience, and one of the best in the sport.
Amy Northern is a phenomenal athlete, but so is Gemma Smith, and she's showing that she can mix it with these top girls.
As a couple of the girls start to lap a few of our back markers, so it's taken a toll on a lot of competitors. Carly Northern in 2nd place. Can she kick the summer off with back-to-back wins? It doesn't get any better than that.
There would be no better way to start the summer of surf, but she's got a lot of work to do if she's going to chase down Lizzie Wellborn.
Oh, she crashes through a wave there. She just got the ski up and moving and got it going and tried to break away from Harriet Brown. Look at, oh, she tries to crash through another one. Harriet Brown will cop a huge one there. So she's been smashed in the lap by a wave and will stand still. How tough is it to get these skis up and moving when a wave smacks you like that? And a few of the girls heading backwards. One of the girls is off. That's Georgia Miller. She's off the ski, so she's had a horror run on the ski today. Gemma Smith sneaks through. Maddie Dunn, who had a little bit of trouble as well. How tough is it? Ski 3rd leg of an Ironwoman. There's waves like this as Amy Northern, Tara Coleman are both off. Wow, some of the best Ironwomen in the business are being made to look like rookies here by the Redhead surf. Harriet Brown, she's out the back into clean water, and a few of these girls will be thanking their lucky stars they weren't underneath some of those waves.
Yeah, once they get into the clean water, these girls know they can get themselves around the can. It is through the break that makes it really hard, especially when you're tied in that 3rd leg of the iron. Your arms are burning, but you've got to concentrate on your technique. You want to keep that length, particularly once you're in that green water, to maintain that ski speed.
And talk about ski speed, Lizzie Wellborn in 1st place. We pan back, and that's how big the gap she's got to Carly Northern in 2nd. So I think we've both assumed at this point that she was going to get caught somewhere on the ski, but there's a little bit of a chance opening up here that she could stay away. There's a long way to go here, and Carly Northern will refuse to stop until she's crossed the line. We saw last year she pipped Jordan Mercer in the final centimetres of the race. So if you're Lizzie Wellborn, you do not want Carly Northern chasing you down, and you don't want Harriet Brown chasing you down either. They're two of the best in the business.
Speak for yourself, Josh. I was on board with Lizzie Wellborn all day.
Oh, Jack loves a winner, doesn't he? And she's out in front looking like a winner at this point from the North Bondi Club. Lizzie Wellborn, trained by former professional Ironman Scotty Thompson, one of the best in the business. He's passed on experience to this young junior up-and-comer who's really showing some of the more experienced girls how it's done.
Yeah, well, he's given her the right stuff, and she's made her the right stuff. Look at her go.
What about that? I love it. This is the right stuff out in front. Lizzie Wellborn, she's pushing back. We can see she'll make her way around that turning flag on the beach for the final time. Head into the final ski leg as she pushes down a wave, and the gap opens a little bit more. So this is it. This is it. Oh, we can see a little bit of trouble there. She grits the teeth and really puts the power down. She didn't take her eyes off the nose of the ski there. She didn't take her eyes off the flag either. And she's gone all the way to the sand. She picks the ski up, tries to drag it around. How tough would it be dragging this ski around the flags? Final leg of an Ironwoman as Carly Northern pushes down a wave as well. If she's going to win this race, it has to be right here, right now.
Yeah, if she's got to go now. She's got a huge gap that she's got to close. For Lizzie Wellborn, she's thrown her leg out. What is going on? I don't think Coach Michael King, the Gladstone surfer, is going to be happy with that.
No, she just threw the leg in there. I don't know what that was, but she's back heading in the right direction at the moment and fallen off that wave. So interesting tactics there from Carly Northern. I don't think it's going to pay off in the long run, but she's made her way to the beach as Lizzie Wellborn gets a clean run through the break, so she's almost out the back as the rest of the field come down a wave. Oh, a little bit of push and shove there. Harriet Brown's just been knocked off by Georgia Miller. So Georgia Miller got in front of Harriet Brown. Oh, Maddie Dunn goes sideways and she'll roll off. We see her grab the strap. She holds on. Oh, no, and the ski's backwards. That is the last place you want to be, heading towards the beach with your ski facing the wrong way. Georgia Miller cruises home. Maddie Dunn spins hers around. Harriet Brown does not look happy after missing that wave at all. So she grits the teeth, grabs the ski. Tian Raymond's backwards as well. Maddie Dunn, I don't know what she's doing there. And all the while, Lizzie Wellborn's headed for home. She's pushing hard. She, crashes out over one out the back. So you're not safe until you're home, are you? These waves are coming through around the cans. Look at the rating. It's gone up. She knows she's a sniff here. She knows she's a chance of taking out probably the biggest race of her career.
Yeah, she's probably feeling better than she's ever felt at this stage, knowing that she's got this one almost in the bag. It's not going to be over until she gets that ski safely back on the beach, though.
Two girls who are having trouble getting those skis safely out to sea are Georgia Miller and Harriet Brown. Amy Nerthen at the top of your screen tries to sneak around one. She'll have to go quickly out, and she gets through. So what a job there from Amy Nerthen as she goes around the outside. Harriet Brown's been belted. Georgia Miller has had so much bad luck as we see her cop another one. And Gemma Smith on the blue ski pushes through. Georgia Miller cops another wave. Oh, and she's off. So tragic scenes for Georgia Miller there. She's done all the right things all day long, but sometimes the surf just does. As we see great shots of how you roll the ski, hold onto that strap, but sometimes the surf just doesn't want to play. Top of your screen, that's Carly Nerthen on the way out. She's in second place. On the yellow ski, Lizzie Wellborn. She is our leader, and she's almost home. She'll push for a wave here. Are we seeing the birth of a superstar? Are we seeing the next generation making their mark? She takes a quick look around. Don't look now, Lizzie. Head for home. She really wants this one bad. We can see the rating lift and a small wave start to come. She'll push. She's round the final can. Going hard for home, Lizzie Wellborn. She really wants this one.
She's never had a win against a quality field like this.
At 17 years of age, I don't think she's raced many quality fields like this. So she's out in front, pushes down a wave. Is this it, Jack? She leans back, gets the nose out of the water, and she's almost home. Keep it straight, Lizzie Wellborn, and you are a Summer of Surf round winner. Whoa, what about that? We're riding on board with her. Just a little bit sideways at the end, but doesn't matter. She'll pop up and she'll be our winner. What a performance from Lizzie Wellborn. A couple of high fives there from Mum. No, that's Tara Coleman's mum there, so I think everyone on the beach is happy for her. I think in the future, everyone will say, where were you when Lizzie Wellborn won her first race? Well, we're right here at Redhead. Lizzie Wellborn, round 2 winner of the Ironwoman. What a performance. What a way to upstage some more experienced girls, and isn't she happy about it?
Where else would you rather be than here at Redhead? Lizzie Wellborn, take a bow.
Wow, what a job there. Carly Nerthen pushing home for second place. What a performance from her as well to start the summer. We can see the distress on her face there. It's been such a tough race for all these girls. We're verging on 45 minutes at this point. Carly Nerthen started the summer with a win at Kurrawa, second place at Redhead. It could only just be better than this. She's got to be happy.
Yeah, it's been a tough day for Carly. It's not easy covering that distance over almost an hour racing and to be so close, but yet so far from the win.
She'll be heartbroken with going down, but second place, it could be a whole lot worse, and she'll certainly remain on top of the Summer of Surf point score with a win and a second place. Take your hats off to Carly Nerthen. She has definitely put on a show here today, and the race is on for third place. It's Amy Nerthen there, so she'll sprint up. She'll make it a Nerthen second and third ahead of Harriet Brown. Valiant in fourth place. She definitely deserved more than that. It looks like Gemma Smith, the young girl from Yamina, just down the road. So stars of the future all over the place. She'll cross the line in fifth place, and that's probably her best performance in open company of her career.
How bright is the future of these two under-17 girls, feeding it to these senior competitors here today?
The future certainly is bright for Lizzie Wellborn. She finishes on top in round 2 at Redhead Beach. Carly Nerthen and Amy Nerthen round out a Currumbin second and third. As we go further down the page, Tara Coleman and Danielle McKenzie struggled to get into the race late, but good performances from them in the top 10. As we head down the page, Danielle McMahon, Jess Miller, Maddie Spencer, Jen Mullins and Olivia Hall round us out.
That was insane. I can't believe it.
Quality field. When did you feel like that you started to take a bit of control?
Well, because it's such a long race and all the places changed so much throughout the race, I didn't want to think that I had it, and then only when I got that wave on the way in was I like, even if I call off now, I think I'll be sweet.
Was it about no mistakes?
Yeah, I think so, because I definitely didn't make no mistakes and got hit back, so the less mistakes you make, definitely the further in front you'll get.
Looks like you had a fight with the ski on the way in on that first leg.
Yeah, I got hit in the face by a ski on the way in on the first one, but that didn't stop me. I just put it in the back of my mind and kept on going.
And how much does that affect you? Did you just push that aside completely?
Well, at first I just wanted to check if I wasn't bleeding, and then when I didn't see any blood, I was just like, all right, I'll deal with it later.
You must be safe.
I'm so happy.
Well, unstoppable from Lizzie Wellborn there to take out round 2. When we take a look at the point score, Carly Nerthen on top with a win and a second place. Sister Amy in second, so the Nerthens continue to battle it out further down the page. Lizzie Wellborn in 9th with only one result there, so 1 from 1 ahead of some of our more experienced competitors.